Hello everyone. So today I thought I'll just share an approach and also get your feedback on using org mode. Yes, using org mode for agile based collaborative project management, whatever you want to call it. So basically, the idea is that let us say you have a team of 3 or 4 people and you all are developers, you all are comfortable using org mode because org mode is wonderful. Of course, that would be ideal scenario. I don't really know, or I don't really think it can ever happen that you have a team of 5 people. They all maybe are developers and they all love org mode. But let us say, hypothetically, if that happens, then can we use org mode for working together, for collaborating? And let us say you are trying to develop a product, or maybe you're working on a common project, and you, of course, need to track your work. Now, the way org mode works fundamentally is you basically have a file on your computer or .org file, and you basically use that particular file to keep a list of all the activities, your task, and when it comes to org mode, you can of course associate your task with different entries, timestamps, so you can see those entries on your agenda, and you know that you have to do this particular activity on Monday from 9 o'clock to till 11 o'clock. So basically, this is like a wonderful thing that you have in org mode. And I was thinking, what if we have to collaborate with other people? So I think what we can do, again, I might be wrong. It is uh, just something that just came to my mind, but maybe you can help me. Maybe if you're doing something similar, or maybe if you have a better idea, then let me know. So what I was thinking is, let us say uh, you have 4 developers, right? And let us say we are working in Agile, and the idea is to use Jira, not Jira. Why I'm saying Jira? The idea is to use org mode for uh, planning the work, for also making sure that everyone is aware of who is doing what. So what we can do is we can create 4 different files for four different developers. So let us say dev1.org, dev2.org, dev3.org, whatever, use their actual names. So you have these files, user specific files, and at the same time you have a common backlog. You can call it as a backlog or you can call it as common.org. So let us say common.org. And in that particular common.org, you can have basically 2 headers mainly. You can have like a backlog, or you can have something like selected items, and or maybe you can just have like a single list where you will keep different, let us say, stories if you're trying to follow Agile, Scrum, for example. And those entries in that particular common.org would be your actual activities that you want to do. And of course, they are ranked, or they are supposed to be ranked. Now, good thing about org mode is that because it is an org file, someone would own that particular file. So let us say every day you meet in your daily stand-up call. So you will basically open that common.org. It could be your Scrum Master or product owner, BA, whatever person who is responsible for that particular file. So you can treat it as a backlog, but you need to make sure that particular backlog is in the right order. It is ranked. And for each and every activity, you can store estimates, uh, and maybe somewhere in the properties, why not? And at the same time, you can also try to use tags, because whenever it comes to using, let us say, stories, if you're trying to follow Agile, stories are usually part of epics, and that is it. You can of course have more hierarchies, but like multiple levels. But let us say those tasks in your common.org, they are part of, or they're supposed to be part of an epic. So you can basically use tags. You can also use like one more level, like starting with epic and then stories. But I think keeping it at single level in that common.org would be simpler. And in your daily stand-up call, make sure you open that particular file, or someone will open that particular file, and you will basically select some items from that list to basically maybe, let us say you're doing your sprint planning. Let us say, okay, let us start with sprint planning. So you will pick some items from that particular list, and then you will add one more tag to it. Okay, so this particular story will be delivered in sprint 3, something like that. So you will of course have different tags. You will have of course tags for epics and so on. So you can basically agree on the nomenclature, like sprint underscore 31 would be a tag for sprint 31. And you can of course do your stand-up calls. And when you're talking about stand-up calls, the moment you make an assignment, you would basically move the actual task from common.org to maybe that user-specific file every day. So you will do that every day, and maybe you just review it every other day. You don't really have to refile. So I'm talking about refiling. So someone would probably open that common.org and they will look at one task. Okay, this task will be assigned to this user. So they will do a refile. And of course, the whole structure, all the files would be, of course, shared with everyone. You can probably use some file syncing software so that the moment you, or maybe just use Git, because why not? I think it will work. And when you are done with your activity, let us say if I look at my file, ravi-sagar.org, I will have some items in my list, and I will of course work on those items. And when I'm done, I'll simply move them to another file called, let us say, done, right? So you can do that, or maybe I'll not do it. I'll just keep it there. But while you're doing your daily stand-up call, you can move the items from that particular uh, user-specific file to done. So let us say in your stand-up call, you all will give your update, and when it comes to my update, I will say, okay, I've done this task, and everything is done, and I'll just refile it to done.org, right? Something like that. Or maybe you don't need to move it to done.org. Maybe you can use status in your org file, in your user-specific org file. So what I'm saying is that you can collaborate, but to avoid conflicts, just do the work in your own file and do it together, so that you know, okay, now we have items in the common.org, and I'll wait for the stand-up call to finish so that the new files will appear in my user specific file, and that is it. So this can, I believe, work. Of course, it is not a scalable solution. I'm just saying that, okay, if hypothetically you have 4 people working together, and they're supposed to, they all love org mode. So I think this can work, and maybe you can have that particular directory, which is maybe somewhere on GitHub or Bitbucket or your own Git server. So you will just focus on that, and because it is Git, you will do version control. Or I think there are better solutions for doing file syncing if you really need like real time. But this, I believe, can work, because using this, you're just going to work on your own set of activities. I know there are other possibilities, but I don't really want, or maybe I'm a bit hesitant when it comes to syncing org mode with tools like Jira. I've seen somewhere that there is a mode someone has written where you will work on your org file. I mean, you will basically use org mode on your computer, but you will sync your specific items with your Jira items. So I'm not really sure how effective that could be, but this approach of using just user specific files and a common backlog, I think it can work. Maybe you have better solutions. Maybe you are collaborating with other people using org mode. So do let me know, especially if you're doing development together. Do we really need to do it, or maybe I'm just asking for too much? Because I use org mode all the time. I mean, to be honest, I don't use it all the time. I have it open on my computer when I boot when I start my computer. So I basically do most of my computing using org mode. Of course, I also use browser to browse the web, and to do things that you can only do using a browser, or effectively do using a browser. But for everything else, I rely on org mode. I rely on nothing but my shell scripts to be effective and to be quick in whatever I do. So that is it for today. I know, a bit strange, but why not? It is just an idea, and maybe there is a way which I'm not really aware of. So do let me know. All right. Bye bye.